Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our part three of the 2024 predictions. And this time we have the very talented medium Abby Dagnese channeling my son, Erik. Hi to both of you.
He says, "Hi, Mama."
Hello.
Does. He says,
Well,
"I'm always hanging on you still."
what?
Yeah, he has his arms like around your neck right now, like
Oh,
going
good.
like this around your neck.
Awesome. So, look, we can just start out with right now with what happened to the drone attack in Jordan. Um, what's going to happen? How are we going to respond? 3 American soldiers killed yesterday or day before yesterday. I can't remember.
Wow, I really gotta start watching the news.
Oh, no, you don't.
I was watching football all day yesterday.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, are
So,
we going to attack anything inside of Iran? I guess that's the only thing I want to know. Or should we?
so I'm seeing like conflictual things happening with the president right now.
Yeah,
It's really
it's hard.
it's hard because it's a political year.
Ugh,
Their decisions are very based on how it's going to, okay, I'm hearing the words disrupt policy.
yeah.
And Erik saying that also they're worried about how it's going to sway the election,
Oh, gosh.
which it's not a, he says, which is pretty sad because it's taken out of, once again, the voters' hands and it's laid to the people who are the decision makers, well, you think are the decision makers.
Yeah, right, right.
It comes down to economics. It comes down to
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and how much we've poured into so much already. So he's saying it's a take from Peter to pay Paul
Oh,
kind of,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
also it's a political year.
Yeah.
So in where the well, we just had our primaries here in New Hampshire, right? And I think the ones in what is it, North Carolina are coming up soon. So
South
obviously
Carolina, maybe.
all
Yeah.
of Biden's people are watching this very
Yeah.
intently. And so it's like more than just, he says, which is sad because it's more than just the military,
Yeah.
like not getting their say. So I don't know who the head of the military, I mean, I know Biden is, but like the head military
Yeah.
operations person, obviously he has his own opinions, but it's like he's saying it's like hush money.
Oh,
Um, because there's different ways that the forces could go with this.
yeah.
And he's saying that it really is good versus evil,
Mm.
obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, he's saying the political climate is just too outstanding for them to make a quick decision. He
Yeah.
says, unlike in Bush's years.
Yeah. Is
Um,
is he compromised, Erik? Because he's been very soft on Iran, taking away all the sanctions, most of the sanctions and all that stuff. Is he afraid to attack Tehran because they have dirt on him, maybe? Or
well, the way that the president actually goes, so Biden goes,
Mhm.
is like he does have this, like let's get him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then it's the whole UN and
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's so much more than just
Oh, yeah.
us deciding
Yeah.
we're going to make a move.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
the politics and then the discussion with the UN and it's like this is scary to hear, but it's scary because it's like as much as we think in this country, every vote matters, our votes matter. It's like I can hear them having discussions.
Yeah.
Like it's like playing out right now about like, well, if we go this way with the presidency, so they're telling him not to make a move.
Okay.
They're telling and it's not
Who?
even
The
him,
UN or
Biden.
just other?
Uh,
Okay. They're telling, who's telling
the
him?
the figureheads. So
Oh,
not
okay.
not just the people that are in the UN, but the figureheads of real society, he says. Um,
Okay.
so it's just all he says it's a political demographic. It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
maybe what's right is
Well,
right.
do you see a nuclear bomb in the near future this year in 2024?
Well, it's sad because he sees a lot. He's saying, yeah, he says, I see lots of nuclear bombs, and a lot of them are pointed at us, and a lot of ours are pointed at different directions too. He says it's truly, when they say this, it's true. He says it's never been more a doomsday
Oh, great.
worse than the Cold War.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all about how you publicize this and
yeah,
how it comes across to the American government, the American
yeah.
people. What's sad is that we're so, he says it's a shaming thing that we've come so regressive versus progressive with the kind of care we put into protecting our people. So he's saying it's really, again, political propaganda. It's about money. It's not about these poor soldiers and their families. It was a life contract. Um, he says that it was a contractual intervening concept and thing because it's like the crisis needed to happen that happened with what you just mentioned. Because it's going to shift a political vote here. Something here is going to have some kind of he says it's not going to come without some kind of warning, some kind of something is going to come out of this that will sway it to the right direction. And he wants you all to remember that we have help. He says you have help, people. He says you got to remember the universal effect from an atomic bomb. He says, if you implode on yourselves, how is that universally going to affect the whole universe and the other
Wow. I
dimension?
didn't think about that.
Look, it's the ripple effect of dimensional time and space because of the technology and the units of okay, so units of he's using like radiation talk here.
Okay.
Okay, so he's saying like units of REM.
Okay.
Okay, which I know because I'm an expert. I
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So he's like showing me the mathematical equations right now and how that
Oh,
has a ripple effect on time and dimension.
oh,
And
wow.
so we have these other planes of beings. That's why we're having so much happening with cross-dimensional beings right now.
Oh,
It's not just all of, wow, that's really interesting. It's not just all like you think, people. He says things happen for a reason.
yeah.
We see time different than you see time. So don't you think it's really ironic that now in this time, the air is so the way that it is to be able to allow that veil space to be so much closer to us and so much more touchable to us. So that way we can reach and they can reach. And he wants to bring this to a positive place right now.
Yeah.
He's saying it starts on the positive level of you and it starts on your being enlightened in your own ways. He says, just by opening your eyes to this program, I know you mentioned that before too, just by being more enlightened in the ways of kindness and giving,
Yeah.
bringing up the frequency will de-escalate the whole situation. He says, because you're part of the whole, we're all part of each other.
So we can't live in fear. It'll make the quantum probability higher for a nuclear attack.
Right. So he's showing me, I have to look this up because I'm so curious about this doomsday clock thing. My mom mentioned it last week and I was like,
Wow.
what's that? I never
I
heard of
don't
that.
know if I want to see it.
It's closer than it's ever been.
Wow.
They're saying that it's 6 minutes till midnight, but Erik is saying it's more like 4.
Okay.
So they're not gonna let when he's saying, when I say they, I mean whatever you want to call it, star being, creatures from another galaxy.
Right.
He says, picture Jabba the Hutt. I don't even care. He says the point is that it's not just you against other countries. It's not just the world against the world. There's all these other beings of higher substance that have ultimate value, that know that human life can't live on these other planets.
Yeah.
And they need us to be. They need us to be just as much as we need them to be.
Okay.
Yes, to be. So this is where they've been coming in.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing it as much as we're allowed to see
Yeah,
it.
like the Miami Mall thing.
Right.
We'll talk about that one time, that weird
Totally happened, by
jellyfish
the
thing. That jellyfish UFO. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll help.
Not
Well,
alone. We're
I don't
not
even
alone.
want to talk about the nuclear, the quantum probability of something like that happening, because that just puts it in the universe
He
more.
says it's very high. And that's why these other beings that you cannot see, that you cannot, you have seen, you will be seeing. This is going to be a crazy year.
I
And it's
know. God.
like over this year. This is
Yeah.
a crazy year just on the politics, on the policies, on the disruptions with the environment, on the status, he says, of UFOs and what we consider to be normalized.
Yeah.
He says, it's all going to come out, people. He says, it's all going to come out. He says, but there's a universal gain from it. There's
Okay.
universal interpretation for the positivity that this is going to bring. There needs to be a
Good.
shift.
We need to shake things up to bring out the light.
It's not just about old world order. It's not just about one country anymore being the figurehead. He says that's too egotistical. That's too economical.
Right.
He's saying it's about grouping together.
Okay.
And look how it's grouping together. Look at how it is forming together, these superpowers, and he says, I don't know. He's I don't know. Just trust that the right things are going to fall into place.
Okay, good.
If you believe it.
Okay.
You're protected. He says
All
either
right.
way, you're protected.
Awesome. All right, let's go on. This person says, I worry about our open borders. Will 2024 bring any large terrorist activity like 9/11 type? Because so many have been caught that are on the terror watch list.
He says, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
What time, what season, what quarter?
He says the quarter is not now.
Okay. First
Okay,
year,
so
second half.
the CIA and whatever international organizations here exist to uncover and debunk escalated situations, they're on overdrive.
Okay.
He says it's almost like a police force of just overrun police. They're so overrun by so many leads.
Oh God, I bet.
What's scary is the leakage, that gets through that really are a thing. And he says, here's the thing about the US as well, is that you're thinking so much. And again, it's the sleight of hand. It's the magic trick of it all. He says you have your cards in one hand and that's what you're paying attention to, but you're not looking at the other hand.
Yeah.
Look, it's all over your news. Look at what you're being fed and what you're being told. It's not that reality isn't reality and it doesn't exist. He says that, and you focus more on it, that reality is absolutely going to continue to persist and persuade and go forward. He says that it's really, again, we're not seeing the other hand.
Okay.
And how much what was that?
Which is what? What's in the other hand?
What's happening with China and with Russia.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
What's happening? He says, Erik. He goes, well, duh.
Mama's kind of slow today. Coffee had kicked in.
He's saying, there's so much occlusion and persuasion that's going on demographically, like all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to show as bad, but then they do show horrible. It's so much just like class and confusion. Yeah. But that's the sleight of hand too. That's part of this all.
Where will a terror attack occur? What part of the US, if it does?
I'm not getting that there's going to be a terror attack per se from an
Okay.
outside element.
Okay.
He's saying that obviously more the inside. And he says, look at your US citizens, look at the normal white people. He says, who are doing the shoot ups and the shootings.
Yeah.
How is that not just as devastating?
Yeah, of course.
He says it's sure as fuck devastating for the families.
Yeah, of course.
Sure as fuck devastating for the children that are afraid to now, not have their cell phones on them. He says, look at how just even the whole cell phone thing about how it's like you feel like you need to have it on you at all times. He says it's literally an extended arm for you
I
because
know.
of the fear, because of the security that
Yeah.
gives you. And then
But
there's
this
like,
person, Erik, this person is asking a specific question. Has somebody, or maybe more than one person, several people, crossed the open southern or northern border for that matter? Are they planning a terror attack on the scale of 9/11?
he says that is a good question. And that is constantly happening.
Mm,
It's really sad to hear that, Erik, say that, but it's actually constantly happening and they're constantly intervening. And when he says they,
okay.
just picture this mystical CIA that you never see.
Yeah.
We have so much security bases that have already stopped her. He's saying it's crazy because he says it's like you'll watch movies. He says like Taken, you'll get Liam Neeson characters that like save the world. He says, imagine that for real. And then nobody knows this person and they just go to the supermarket, but they literally just
Yeah.
stop.
So we have protections in place, protocols, but
But they're getting
what's the quantum probability of a major terror attack, 9/11 size? The quantum, 90%, 80%, 20. I know we have CIA and others protecting us and following leads.
it's very high. He
Oh,
says, and it's getting higher.
all right. Any big riots going to happen in the U.S.?
Okay, so I'm gonna repeat exactly what he's saying. He's going, which I always do, but he's going, God, people, and puts his hands to his forehead. He says, you have no idea.
Okay.
He's
Uh,
not he's not saying.
okay. What about bridge collapses? Major bridge collapse?
There is a This is scary. So there is a probability of an interruption here with that. It's like a man-made device.
Mhm.
So that's a possible terrorist
Okay.
thing that he says will be occluded. It, it I don't think it's gonna happen,
Okay.
but there is a chance it could. Um,
Okay.
it just hasn't October. I'm getting
Okay.
there's something there with October that it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like they want to cause. He says they don't. What do you mean by they? Because he's saying they want to cause more mass chaos before the
Oh
elections,
yeah. Huh.
create more conclusions, crisis, probability.
Okay.
So the haves can have not. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any Jesus or godlike beings coming?
He's going, I'm like, settle down here. He's going, what did I just tell you?
Okay, I figured, but I just thought I'd ask this person's question. So yes, there is Jesus coming back.
Jesus is not going to be reincarnated in the
Okay.
physical and rise up into the sunset with his arms out like a cross for everybody to see. No,
Okay, I got you. Will the birth certificate system cease completely to exist in this year?
no, that's not going to.
Okay. In Canada this past summer, we had a record amount of wildfires. Will the summer 2024 be the same, better, or worse?
He says, well, really, it's just going to continue.
It's about the
Uh,
same. or better?
Yeah, because this is pollution.
Yeah.
This is an evolutionary thing that's happening.
Okay.
Um, he says kind of meant to.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, really. Eric's like, oh, he feels bad about it destroying wildlife and what it's doing,
yeah.
also what it's doing to the economy,
Yeah.
trying to prevent this, trying to deal with it, the hard work that goes into, he says
Yeah.
it's very devastating. But again, it's like things really do fall into place for reasons that we have no idea. And one of them is that it was meant that this veil between us and other dimensions is very thinning. And it's so that way we can get more help,
Okay.
for stopping the New World Order, for stopping these collusions and these commitments from societies to
Yeah.
expel other societies. He's
Oh,
saying chances. Okay, I disagree with him on this, but because I'm like, Putin is not stupid, or I'm thinking Putin's stupid, and Eric's saying Putin's not that stupid.
no, I
He's
don't
like,
think
he
it's
doesn't, he knows he has people that will tell him what will happen to his own country, on an environmental level,
right.
on an economical level if he just implodes the US.
Right.
He's It's really more dangerous is Taiwan and that political leader. And the ego that he thinks that, okay, I don't know what his name is, but that political leader, also the ego that political leader has in how much he almost thinks that it's like science isn't, it's like he's right over science or something.
Oh, wow. Are you talking about Xi Jinping, the guy, head of China?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
they
the
have this, they have these, found these humanized mice that they've created a new COVID version that's 100% fatal. Is that going to be a problem?
Oh, is that X one they were talking about?
I don't know. I try not to watch the news either. I get some of them just through these questions.
A friend of mine was telling me about it the other day, and I was like, "Oof, I don't want to go through that again." Um, okay, so there's implanted seeds everywhere of this technology
Mm,
that can create mass hysteria and confusion with disease process.
right.
It also, think of it like an atomic bomb. It can
Yeah.
also be triggered. He says
Yeah.
it's how they control the political climate. It's how
Mm.
they control the way they want it to go with the
Oh,
world.
wow. Okay.
So it's
Even
very
China.
scary. It's more of a terrorist
Yeah.
issue versus because this is also a man-made substance,
Yeah.
that is not just a natural like polio, or the measles, mumps, rubella. It's not like that.
Well,
So
there's a lot of Chinese illegal aliens crossing the border too, just young men like soldier age. What's going on there? And why is China buying farmland? Are they trying to control our food supply? Things like that. Does China have evil plans to destroy the US? I mean, we buy all the shit.
people
We buy
are
all the shit, so I don't know why they would do that.
they're not being told things by their government, just like we're not being told things by their
Yeah.
government. They're told even less by their government.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
So he says you're dealing with a much more communist community of people
Yeah.
that he says it's more of an uprising that will end up happening
In
because
China?
with China, because it is a different generation
Yeah.
than the greatest generation, is what he's saying. It's a different generation. So you have all these implements of social media that they're even communist people like they can gain access to, and they do know things, and they are educated, and they are smart people. He says, and they don't want, they look at our country and the things we materialistically possess and have, and our celebrities and our shows, and they appreciate that, and they like that in our culture. So the majority, they wouldn't want that to go.
Okay. That makes sense. What's
Yeah.
going to happen with the price of gold and silver? Higher, same, lower? And just in 2024.
I did just hear higher.
Okay. Keyword, I don't understand that one. Okay. Anything different about the weather? Any weather predictions 2024? I mean, we always have storms and all that stuff, but anything different?
I'm hearing massive flooding.
Okay.
Massive flooding, more fires out in California, earthquakes
Yeah.
in, I feel like I'm hearing Japan or something
Okay.
there. Um, it's a lot more of the same. I am seeing a pretty devastating earthquake again. I don't know if it's gonna hit Haiti again, but I'm seeing some more devastation here with the earthquake and the flooding and what that's doing to the erosion of the land.
Okay, so flooding, where's the most of what part is the flooding going to be in the world?
What part is the flooding going to be in?
I mean, the biggest.
Where it's been. It's going to continue to be where it's been.
Wherever it's been. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
where it's been, it's going to continue to hit hard. I am seeing a hurricane here hitting pretty hard in South Carolina. Like it's going around Florida and it's like hitting
Like a hurricane?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing, like on a map right now. And that one will be pretty devastating again.
Okay.
I don't know when hurricane season is there, but he is bringing up August,
Okay.
September.
All right. That makes sense.
Is somewhere
I'm
around
worried
there.
about the abuse and captivity of animals in the world. Will this ever get better with laws to prevent it? Will there be any laws coming up 2024?
He goes, huh, no.
Yeah, I figured.
But he's not laughing at it. It's just like
I know, I know.
and he wishes.
Any
But
big technological advances for 2024?
I was saying, stop being so sarcastic. He's going, are you even watching what's on TV? Of course there is.
Okay.
He's
Well, what are they?
the AI thing.
Smart ass.
He's saying with AI, he says
Oh yeah, of course.
you don't want AI to
Taylor
do
Swift, graphic deep fakes. Yeah. I mean, anything big, medical, I guess, or
Okay,
anything.
so what Elizabeth Holmes had going there with what her whole thought processes and theories, he says it's going to transform. It's going to transform the world. There's something to do with that and
Okay.
how much easier it's going to be to get lab work done, blood tests done.
Oh,
And then what's going to happen is it's going to get overdone because it's going to be so inexpensive. It's going to be so cost effective. And then more manipulation with the insurance companies for that cost. So I'm seeing this whole battle,
okay.
but for a normal person, for an everyday person that is just on Medicaid, Medicare, Obama plan, simple insurances, it'll be much more cost-effective way
Good.
for diseases even to reduce. Okay. He says the side effects from urinary tract infections, because a lot of them happen, they're hospital-borne illnesses, that it's
Yeah.
actually common. He
Yeah.
says you get less people in the hospital, and he says you can see it all over the place with doc in the boxes, like the
Yeah.
urgent just popping up everywhere. He says that's only the beginning. There's these tablets being created, and not tablets you swallow, tablets that you
Oh,
see
okay. Yeah.
you're into, that things can be printed out for you right there. Kind of like, that's cool. He's saying like a walk up, not like an ATM because you're not getting money out of it, but you're putting your finger in, it's getting pricked kind of way, and then it's giving you the whole printout.
Wow. Cool. That is nice. All
He's
right.
like, yeah, it's being invented right now.
That's so
It's getting
cool.
into the state.
What about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid? Are they going to be protected at least through 2024?
He says, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be
Yeah.
they can't move that. They can't shift that. They're not going to. And the reason why is it's a political year, people.
Yeah, I know. Will the war in Ukraine end in 2024?
Okay, so I'm seeing a shift with a like it's almost like I'm looking at a camera. I'm looking through a camera lens and I'm seeing it shift to
Okay.
Iran. Uh I thought Kuwait is good because he's showing me something like I don't know. My brother is in Kuwait. I should know where this
Oh,
is.
okay, right.
Somewhere in the Middle East. It's getting shifted. So it's not that it's not still people are still dying. There's still a lot of trauma, cleanup. You don't read in the history books all the work that was put into rebuilding
I
Germany
know.
after World War II.
Mhm.
Um, he says, God, the country was just devastated.
Yeah.
And
A
the
lot of
amount of
countries were.
trauma he says that comes out of that is just so empirically devastating for like all of the universe, like of all
Yeah.
US for all society because we feel the ripple effects of the
Of
emotion
course.
of the
So,
mom.
so it won't end. The focus will be on the Middle East, but the war
Still
in
goes
Ukraine
on. There
still
is there.
smolder.
It's like it's this time capsule, this base that is just stuck in this, and then it's like
Okay.
other things are coming up and taking time on the evening news. He says he knows I have the biggest crush on David Muir on the evening news, and he's like, "Your poor David Muir is so overwhelmed."
Oh, I don't know who that is.
What?
Uh,
I love David Muir.
uh,
Um,
so state of the Israeli-Hamas conflict. What's going to happen in 2024? Will the Israeli prisoners be released, for example?
oh gosh, that's a whole thing. That's a whole situation. It's not a good one. It's really
Okay, let's. I don't want to. I
it's
really
it's
don't want to dwell too
not
much on the
going,
negative. It's just
it's
gonna
not going well.
solidify.
It's not going to go well. It's very inhumane and it's very
Okay, pessimistic outlook.
feeling like it's making me want to cry right now because I'm seeing all this imagery and I'm like,
Oh,
and
stop there.
that's not getting better.
All right, quantum computing computers, are they coming in 2024 or
He says,
later?
he says you'd like to think they are. He says, I'd like to help with that because it can really shift your reality with enlightenment.
Hmm.
So he says the possibility is there. It's really about the funding with the political
Yeah.
climate. It's
Will it
really
only be in the hands of
all the
corporations?
bills, all
Will it,
these bills, all this money that goes
yeah,
out. He says, save the turtles. He
yeah,
says all of that. He says there's with the bill goes in all of this extra monies that get outputted, which everybody knows, to all these different things.
yeah,
It's convincing the team, it's convincing the right political group, not even the leader, which the leader doesn't even know exactly everything that's going into it.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. All right. If we do get a real quantum computer or computers this year, will it only be for the government plus minus big corporations? Probably they'd be so expensive at first.
March, actually, that's soon.
Oh,
There is this, and there's going to be a headline.
okay. All right.
Yes, we'll see.
Good. It'll take a while before it gets to the little people. Okay, this person says she or he is concerned about a time of trouble, lack of food, lack of money to buy food or shelter. Are we headed toward, in the United States, a socialist government in 2024 only? That's all we're doing.
This is the conflict. He says,
Oh,
this is
okay. Yeah.
the conflict. He says, I can promise you. He says that world leaders are trying to not make that part of their propaganda. Um, However, he says, with ego comes collusion.
Mm.
And this it won't because
Okay.
so much of an uprising right now we're talking about this country, right? He's saying with their American rights, there's too much of an uprising. It's been so highlighted, but
Okay.
highlighted purposefully for political reasons,
Okay.
to get certain people elected over certain other people to show you, hey, this is being taken from you. Hey, this is how you need to protect this right. He says that's part of being an American citizen is that
Yeah.
we are so protective. And he's saying, yeah, I was an American citizen in this lifetime as Erik. He says, and hell yeah, I loved my guns.
Yeah.
And I loved my shooting and I loved my truck and I loved
Yeah. Right.
he's
All
listening to my
Texas.
dog.
Hey, what's going to happen with Texas? This conflict at the border between the federal government and the Texas government.
God, what a mess.
Where isn't there a mess?
Right. The federal government's going to continue to try and control the situation how they see fit with the sitting president as it stands and as it is. He's saying, however, Texas is going to go the way they've always gone. He says they're going
Secede from the union is what we're saying.
to do what they want to do. And
Right. True. It's true.
he says, so you can say what you want and you can think what you want. And he goes, and Abby, your little David Muir can say whatever you want.
I gotta look him up. All right. Well, I'm going to close here. Paula will put a screen with her information so you can get in touch with Abby, and we'll have a part 4. I just got too many questions, man. Awesome questions. So thank you to the community for submitting them, and some are continuing to submit for like other countries, like Ireland. I've got some for Ireland. All right. I love y'all both. Bye.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.